Okay, so we'll share with the website. Okay. So as always, the results and Group 1. I just pressed the right one. No, I think I pressed the wrong one. No, I pressed the 6. There we are. That's better, yes. I think that's the first time that Jenny and Philip have won. And they don't ask many questions, so it was a good result for them. And also good score there for Anne and Jill. All really quite close, as it nearly always is in Group 1, really. So so that's fine. Nobody left behind. Of course, we had this shock result, didn't we? How are the mighty fallen? So Naomi and Brian, who seem to achieve amazing consistency, having not played with them, obviously good players. I'm not sure if their strength is in bidding or play or both, perhaps. I don't know. Mano there and Douglas doing well, as they have done for some time now. I think the most pleasing result, and I don't think he's here yet anyways, is Tim with Sheila Gales. They won't have played together before, and Sheila kindly stepping in there to fill in the gap. I think that's an amazing score, actually. I don't recall them having played before, so well done them. Okay.
Chris, just one small point. Fraser and I asked Naomi and Brian about their bidding, and they play an American system. So where they've got a balanced hand that we would normally open as 1 no trump, they bid 1 club.
Yes, this is 5 card majors, isn't it? System. Yes, it is very different. I mean, it swings and roundabouts, really. And the main thing is what you're used to. So I assume they only open with a 5 card major. Is that correct?
They open a club if they've got opening points 12 or more, but no 5 card major.
Even if they've got 4 diamonds?
Got it.
Yes.
That's really unusual, isn't it? Well, they may have the advantage of throwing some of you then, because you're so used to other things. Right. Hello, Martin there. Sorry.
Hi. Yeah, sorry I was a minute late tonight, Chris.
That's all right. Right, let's move on anyway. In case you don't know, by the way, Jonathan has actually worked out averages for certainly going back to February. So we're not publishing at the moment, but if you'd like to know your general standing, Jonathan will tell you. Okay. So we're looking across the table at Responder today. Sort of complements last week's session when we were talking about opener and first and second bid. So let's go through the basics first. We've done the 1 no trump and Stayman and transfer side. So partner opens 1 of a suit, and of course this is very wide ranging. It can be anything from 11 to 20. I mean, the accepted range is 12 to 19, but some of you will use the rule of 20. Some of you will open 1 of a suit with over 20 points if it's a minor suit. So, but the general accepted range is 12 to 19. And of course, 4 cards in the suit bid. So we'll whip through this because this is revision for most of you. Now, there's this figure of 25 high card points. Where is that plucked from? Well, I think it's just over the years experience has shown that I think on 25, you've got about a 50-50 chance in the long run, you know. And that's the figure you aim for. Okay. Now the implication of that is that you as responder, therefore, must bid with 6. This is where the 6 comes from, because partner might have the maximum 19. Do stop me because I'm going to whip through it fairly quickly if you're not sure. Now, the holy grail, as always, is the major suit fit. If your partner opens 1 of a major, you're going to always support with 4 cards, certainly. So that's nice and simple. Unfortunately, most of the time that doesn't happen. The other important thing, of course, is that don't raise a minor. if you've got a major to mention. You see, partner might have 5 clubs and 4 hearts, for example, so they won't be mentioning the hearts first. So you just try to make sure you haven't got that kind of fit in a major suit. Don't raise minor suit unless you've got a 4-card major. I'm sure most of you know that. Bid a higher ranking suit at the 1 level. Well, more often than not, of course, you don't support your partner. You need to bid another suit if you've got 6 points. Now, at the 1 level, that's fine because 6 points is enough. But the 2 level, you're taught as beginners to that you need 10 points to bid at the 2 level change of suit. And going back to the American system, I believe they actually need 12 or 13 in the American system, which must leave an awful lot of bids in the kind of dustbin range. We do have this rule of 14, you know, so if you've got a bit longer suit, anybody not familiar with the rule of 14? Just add your longest suit to the number of points. But the 10 is the maximum because you're always going to be bidding a 4-card suit. Okay. And that's the get out clause, the dustbin bid. If you haven't got anything else you can do, you bid 1 no trump. Incidentally, I don't know if it says it here, but it's usually better to support with a 3-card major than bid 1 no trump there. It's a last resort, of course. There it is, it's saying it there. So in theory, a raise of 1 heart to 2 hearts, for example, could be made on just 3 cards to avoid the not particularly useful information of 1 no trump. Incidentally, some people still think that this 1 no trump is balanced. And of course, an opening bid of 1 no trump is balanced, but the 1 no trump dustbin bid could be anything. Choice of suits, you bid your longest, and it doesn't matter about the strength in the suit. People often say, oh, I've got a stronger suit here. All that matters about trumps is the sheer length of trumps you've got. Your high cards will win tricks in the side suits in any suit. Generally speaking, you bid that if the suits are equal, you go up the 4s. Now, what cheapest means is that the bids that takes away the least bidding space. Okay. Cheaper of 4s, or I say cheapest because you could actually have 3 4-card suits if you had a 4-4-4 one hand. And the single high 5s we call this, don't we? If you've got equal length 5-card suits, you bid the higher ranking, cheaper of 4s. So that's just a brief resume of responding bids, a general summary. Any questions about that? Mainly revision.
Chris, on the equal length 4-card suits,
Yeah.
are you saying you wouldn't prefer a major over a minor?
No, you don't, you see, because the reason for that is, Martin, as always with you, very good question, thank you. If partner's got 5-4, yeah,
Yes.
they're going to bid their, let's say, minor, but they're going to be able to show their major if they want to. So you're not missing out by bidding, say, 1 diamond in preference to 1 heart. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
If partner is opening properly, you will not miss your major fit by bidding the cheaper card suit if it's a minor. Can you see that? Because of this thing, I think we were talking about this last time, weren't we? That when you bid 2 suits as opener, you are showing 5 in the first and 4 in the second, and that's where that comes from. Good question. Anybody else?
Yeah, can you just spell out the rule of 14? You have mentioned it before.
I can indeed. I mean, I think you were taught by Mike, weren't you, Val, to start with? And I would imagine he said that if you are a responder and you change suit at the 2 level, I wouldn't be surprised if he said 10 points in those early days. Is that right?
I think so, yeah. Am I the only one there defending this?
No. Well, you have one of the people who's played the least number of months or years in certainly in this audience. No, but it's a bit restrictive to do that if you've got a longer suit. So if you're trying to decide whether to bid a new suit at the 2 level as responder, that's the partner of opener, isn't it? What you actually can do is add your points to the length of that suit. You see what I mean? Now, if you were thinking of bidding 2 clubs and you had a 5-card suit, 9 points will be enough. The idea is you add your points.
yeah.
You remember it all now?
Vaguely.
It's just an idea, but it works very well. And it's another way of not having to bid 1 no trump, which is a bit vague.
Right.
So if you had an 8 card, if you had 8 points, sorry, and a 6-card suit, it would be regarded, the length would be regarded as a kind of compensation for the lack of points.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So the formula is the longest suit plus number of high card points.
But you know, if you want to stick to 10 points, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, the main thing is a 2-level response in a new suit needs to be a reasonably decent hand. And that's the really important thing. And if you want to stick to making it 10 points, that's absolutely fine.
Right.
Anybody else? Okay, now, responding bids quiz. Okay, now, have you, sorry, I should have asked at the beginning. If you have a pen and paper handy, pencil and paper, I'll just give you a minute if you haven't. Everybody okay? Right, now this quiz is one of those where the questions are different every time you do the quiz, okay? But on the other hand, as you do a single quiz, the questions remain the same. So I'm going to do the 10 questions, which are completely random, by the way. And when we go over them again, they'll still be the same until I click next quiz. Do you get the idea? And you'll just simply be asked to give your responding bits. Simple as that. I won't give you too much time because I think we're still in the world of revision, but who knows? So if you're ready then, and I won't do the answers till the end. That's number 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me if I go a bit too quick, but I've got quite a lot to get through tonight. Notice North conveniently passes every time. Example, Martin, isn't there? I think it's heard you asking that question.
Yes.
Okay. 5. He's heard Val's question as well. Very pleasant ticking clock in the background. Don't turn it off. It's rather restful. Sounds like a grandfather clock. Oh, somebody's turned it off. Oh, that's a shame. Or perhaps it's just stopped by coincidence. Here's number 6. This is completely random, so anything could turn up. Some of the sets are more interesting than others. Number 7. Haven't really had anything outlandish this time. Oh, it likes 2 hearts, doesn't it? But that's bridge. You never know what's going to happen next. Number 9. Okay. There are 2 right answers for that one. And final one of this group. Okay, and this is on the website now, so if you want to do another quiz, you can do that for homework. So we'll just see how many we got out of 10. Trust your honesty over the airwaves. There was the first one. 1 diamond. We're not going to support that, are we? We have got 7 points. We must bid. There is only 1 suit there. So a nice, easy 1 spade. Stop me if you think the answer's wrong, because this has been known to make mistakes. What do we think there?
I'm presuming it's a 2-heart weak bid.
I should have said that, shouldn't I? My partner behind the screen should have said weak. Janet should have shouted weak up from the bottom of the stairs. Yep, so that's showing, you know, something like 5 to 10 points. Good heart suit, weak hand in other words, but good hearts. What's the general idea when your partner opens with a preempt weak 2?
Pass.
No, the idea is to disrupt the opposition's bidding and you raise to the level of the fit.
South must have a few points.
3.
I'm assuming the points of the compass. And South is probably itching to come in with something like a takeout double or something like that. And of course, it depends on your style. It's not set in concrete. I think, you know, partner's got 6 cards, haven't they?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So apparently some young players do this with 5 cards nowadays. You've got 3. The general rule is you bid to the level of the fit. And if you've got 9 hearts, it's usually a good idea to bid to that level. It's usually safe to do that. Because if you're going to go down in 3 hearts, they're as certain as anything to be making something like 4 spades or, you know, this kind of thing, or 3 spades. So technically that's right. But I mean, responding to preempts is not quite such an exact science as I'm making it look as if it is. Okay, technically that's the right answer. I think the timer might have passed as if it was a flat 4-3-3-3. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. Or I'm playing against a timid opponent who won't dare open anyway. But do we know each other that well? That one, number 3, I've got down as this was answering Martin's question. You see, we've got we could actually bid spades or clubs. We're strong enough to bid at the 2 level, aren't we? Yes, we are. 11 points. So the cheaper bid is 1 spade, isn't it?
Yeah.
As distinct from the higher ranking. And you really do want to bid 1 spade there to try and find your spade fit if it's there. Excellent. Confident sounding audience tonight. Number 4. 1 diamond, and it's another example of the same, isn't it? It's come up twice. We've got to bid, of course. Now we've got 17 points. Now, not so many years ago, people have been advised to jump the bidding here. Why jump the bidding? I don't see the point of it. Partner must respond when you change suit. You can show your strength next time. You want to leave space to explore the contract. So I don't really want to see a bid like 2 hearts or 3 clubs or 2. certainly not 3 no trumps. So I think the right bid is
One heart.
quite as simple as that. And I know we've got 17 points, so we might even be in slam territory, who knows? But partner's got to respond.
But you
So
don't
just
like
one
to
party.
show
is
your
fine.
strength, do you, Chris?
Pardon? Sorry, whoever that was, you don't show your
Yeah.
strength.
You're
No.
not showing your.
Well, you sh-
I thought it would be 2 no trumps because you're showing your strength.
Well, I have to say, you know, a decade or two ago, that was the recommended thing. But first of all, you are not actually showing weakness or strength. You're showing the whole gamut,
Okay.
because you could be showing 6 points. You could be showing 21. Partner must bid again. They've not passed in the first instance. They know, or should know, if they've attended these sessions, that a change of suit is unlimited. Then you can start showing off and showing your strengths. But in general, in modern bidding, and I completely agree with this, there's absolutely no need to rush to show your strength, when after all, partner's going to bid again, and then you'll have much idea about the hand. So I vote for 1 heart there. I mean, 3 no trumps. Andrew Robson will call 3 no trumps vulgar. It's a very crude bid. You see, I'm bidding 1 heart there because we might have a heart fit. Okay. Oh, that was a nice blow by somebody. Number 5. Are we strong? This is where it answered your question, Val.
Rule of 14.
And Val, what was your bid, please? You gone for a
Speaker.
couple? Pardon?
No, I'm not. I'm here. I'm unmuting
I'm,
myself. I said 2 clubs.
Watching the
And you were absolutely right.
Great.
Having applied the rule of 14, we've only got 8 points. But look at the
Sorry.
length of that club suit. 6.
yeah. Well,
I think 2
oh,
clubs.
hold on, I'm at the lesson.
If you bid 1 no trump, well, it's equally right, because you might decide you don't really like the rule of 14. So 1 no trump is technically right. You know, what the trouble with 1 no trump is it doesn't really tell partner much, does it? You know, so I think 2 clubs is the better bid, really. Number 6. That was well, we had a quite nice variety of things here, and here we can bid high 5s. Now, which is the higher ranking suit? Spades. By coincidence, it's also the cheaper to bid, but that happens as well sometimes. So 1 spade, I'm sure most of you got that right. Number 7, the 1 diamond. No question about this. It's 1 heart. We can bid very cheaply. It's always nice when you can bid the next suit above, isn't it? Because it gives your partner plenty of breathing room. Okay. I think that's the idea of the cheaper of the 4s, by the way. I never like it if I open 1 club and then partner responds 1 spades. All my bidding space is taken away. May well be the correct bid, of course. 2 hearts, we've got another one of these. So really it's just the same as whatever it was for the last question. I think that's 3 hearts. Yeah? It's not a flat hand. And again, South might have quite a lot of points. Depends a bit on the vulnerability. I was saying to some people in group 1 yesterday that which is the best vulnerability for bidding and being brave in the bidding? And that's when both sides are green. When both sides are green. So if both sides were green, you would definitely bid 3 hearts there, I think. Non-vulnerable, in other words. What do we got here? 2, 4, 5, 8. Well, it's 4 hearts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, some of you in group 2 may have another bid for this one. Anybody, Keith?
2 no trumps.
Yes. We will study these conventions, Jacobi 2 no trumps, but not tonight. It's a way of showing a raised game with no shortages. Do you know another bid in response with this particular hand, by the way? Right, well, there's something called the pudding raise, and you might be tempted to bid 3 no trumps. And what 3 no trumps shows is you've got enough for game in hearts, but you're a bit concerned because you've got a 4-3-3-3 hand. Now, if partner's the same, they'll stay in 3 no trumps, but most of the time they'll correct it to 4 hearts. So a nice little convention there. If you, well, it's not really a convention, or is it a semi-convention, is the pudding raise. 3 no trumps when you've got a 4-3-3-3 hand with a 4 in the hearts. Because if partner's got 4-3-3-3 as well, you're not going to gain anything by being in a trump contract. Anyway, the standard answer, of course, is 4 hearts. And the last one I seem to think was fairly straightforward. Yep, just the 1 spade. Got to bid there with 7 points. Okay. Anybody want any? And if you do another one, you can do this. You get another whole set, etc., etc. But we'll move on now. So let's come out of that and just remembering where I was. Now, we've talked all about responders' first bit, and now we must get on to the rather lengthy subject of responders' second bid. There's quite a lot of different combinations. The good news is, though, that responders' second bid is often quite cut and dried because they've often got enough information after openers' first 2 bids to be able to place the final contract. So let's have a look what we've got here. Now, one of the most important charts I ever remember reading, it was not so long ago, was what should be openers' first, well, top 5 priorities. And when you see the whole of the screen revealed, you might remember it. I think it's an amazingly useful chart for openers' second bid. Now, that will be the priority. If you bid a major, your partner should be raising that. That's their top priority. And just a simple raise of 1 level there. Can I explain this notation, by the way, if you've not seen it? The 1 club colon 1 heart comma 2 hearts means that your partner opened 1 club, you responded 1 heart, they raised to 2 hearts. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Your partner opened 1 club, you bid 1 heart because you're a responder today, aren't you? Then they bid 2 hearts. So they must have heart support, and it's in the lower end of the range. Now, I know a lot of you like losing trick count. If you're using that, you assume it's 7 losers at the bottom end of the range of opening bids. You know, I've also said that it's not a great idea to use the losing trick count with balanced hands. Either way, you would take it to be 12 to 15 points. So what? Yep.
You wouldn't be balanced opening 1 club, responding 2 hearts. You'd more than likely be 5 clubs minimum and 4 hearts.
But opener must have at least 5 clubs.
Yes.
And they must have at least 4 hearts.
Yes.
Okay.
So best he's got is 2 doubletons.
Yeah. And incidentally, that information, indeed, yes. Well, actually, I've actually thought about this when I do my presentations. Is there room for that particular situation? And I found I could actually construct quite a few 5-4-2-2 hands with indeed 7 losers. 5-4-2-2 hands are a little bit overrated. Their 2 doubletons aren't as good as a better shape is 5-4-3-1.
That's my favourite shape.
Yes, admittedly, it will almost certainly be 5-4-2-2. It must be, because absolutely right. They couldn't really have a singleton and 7 losers, could they?
No.
Yeah. Incidentally, if you have 3 clubs yourself, you've got a double fit. And although you'd want to stay in hearts, a double fit is like, well, it's worth an extra trick. It's good news. 8 card fit in 2 suits. I'm sure you've noticed when you're declarer, it's great when you've got 2 8-card suits to work at.
Yeah.
Assuming one of them is trumps, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously a double raise, that would be up to the next level. I haven't shown the one after that because they'd be bidding game, and that would probably be the end of the auction. Second priority is to rebid no trumps. Partner, by the way, in the previous example with 19 would of course raise to 4 spades. And the thing about no trumps is that if you bid no trumps as your second bid at the lowest level, or just one no trump, in other words, that shows 15 to 17. You all know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You open with 12 to 14, you bid second time with 15 to 17. If you've got better than that, really good hand, you jump to 2 no trumps. Sometimes, because partners bid at the 2 level, it could show anything in between. But you see, if partners bid at the 2 level, they should have 10 points. If you've got 15 points, you have got the 25. So it doesn't seem particularly any reason to jump straight to 3 no trumps, so long as partner realizes this. Incidentally, it's quite a good idea to bid 2 no trumps there, because you yourself might have 3 spades. So that's why in modern bidding, people don't tend to just dive into 3 no trumps, even though they've got 25 points. I think if you've got a partner you're not sure knows that, though, it's probably best just to bid 3 no trumps if you've got enough points. Yeah. Third priority is raising the minor, and this is pretty much the same as there's something wrong there, isn't there? Can you see the deliberate mistake?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 spades instead of 2 clubs, 2 diamonds.
Should be 2 diamonds there. That's an error at the bottom. 1 spade, 2 diamonds, 4 diamonds.
Yeah.
Now, sorry about that. For 2 spades, read 2 diamonds. It's the same idea. With a minimum opening hand, they would raise 1 level. With a medium opening hand, they'd raise 2 levels, and that. But it also, by the way, shows what kind of hand. By the way,
Unbalanced.
it must be unbalanced. It's corollary, isn't it, of what we said in part 2. So when partner raises your minor, they should always have an unbalanced hand, because no trumps clearly takes priority over the minor. Okay.
Yeah.
Partner bids a second suit. Well, we've already ventured into this territory. So if they bid, it's a really main tenet, if that's the right word, of modern bidding, that if opener bids 2 suits, they definitely show 5 cards in the first and 4 in the second. And that's why it's so important when you're opening bidder, for example, if you have 4 clubs and 4 spades, you do not bid the clubs first. And I've had arguments with some older players over this, because if you then bid spades and you've only got 4-4, you're not showing your shape, which is the most important thing. And that really does demonstrate why we tend to open the higher ranking of suits. Okay, this idea of 5-4.
One exception, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, the dreaded
hand.
4-1. Yes, and the solution I suggest, although you perhaps got your own one, is taps. It's very simple. With a black singleton, you bid hearts, H. With a red singleton, you bid clubs, C. Hot and cold taps. But no system's perfect. In fact, I would recommend not opening with 12 points and a 4-4-4 one hand, because you can get into so much trouble. Some people even say 30. This idea of the barrier, are you all familiar with this now? The barrier being the two level of the suit you opened. So in the example there at the bottom, the barrier for opener will be 2 diamonds. Opener has bid above that barrier. Now, if you're sticking to the rules, there is a certain case not to. If you bid above that, you should be showing 16 or more. And you do really need to make that clear with partner, because otherwise they're completely misled. Sometimes this type of bidding is called a reverse in the older books, because you're actually bidding the suits in the reverse order. Normally you bid hearts before diamonds, don't you? But if you're bidding above the barrier, you're doing that in reverse order. So if you read books on the subject, you might see it called a reverse. Okay, that's just about on the top end of Group 1's knowledge, as far as I can tell, walking around the room. Yep. Some of you seem to know it and others don't. Lynn, you know about this idea, don't you?
Yes.
I'm sure you do. Good. Okay. Now, to deliberately jump as opener needs a very special hand, really. And here we could have bid 2 hearts at the bottom. But if you've got 19 points, that kind of area, you really need to force the issue, because, you know, partner might only have 6 points. So finally, repeating the first suit. Can you see the bottom of the screen?
Yeah.
It's a bit obscured by some kind of screen prompt.
Chris, is there something wrong with that jump bid?
I was hoping you wouldn't notice that, Martin. It should say, can you see what it should say? It's just caught the corner of my eye. It should say 2 clubs, shouldn't it?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So 2 mistakes on 1 page, detention later.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got both, is it errata? You don't say erratums, do you? Say errata on that page, I hope. Repeating the first suit is the last resort, of course, for partner. And if you repeat at the 2 level, it shows 12 to 15. If you jump to the 3 level, that should show 16 high card points and a 6 card suit. Any questions about that apart from the 2 misprints?
Number 1, Chris, the partner raises your major suit. Is that actually when you have 3 or 4 cards?
It should be 4 in this case, Anne, because this is openers. This is openly supporting you. Now, when you're responder and you raise your partner from 1 heart to 2 heart, that actually can be quite often just 3 cards. But I think if opener raises responders for this bid, that should show 4 cards. And if I'd had enough room on that line, I should really have written and 4 card support. Okay. Good question. Good question.
Chris, on the bottom one, number 5, where partner repeats his suit at the second, put my false teeth back in, where he repeats at the 2 level, he may only have 5 cards as well.
Yeah, I mean, this
he won't go through the barrier.
And actually, this is why some people think you should scrap the reverse and the barrier, because you don't have that problem and you always promise 6 cards. But you're right. You know, after an auction like 1 heart, 2 diamonds, you know, all the bidding space is taken away and you have to repeat with a 5 card suit. But if you are going to play this restrictions on reverses, which is the recommended method, you're probably thinking, why do we have this silly rule anyway? And the reason is that if you don't do reverses, your partner, if they prefer your first suit, has to go to the 3 level. Now, I won't show that on the screen, but that's the good reason for it. If you don't play reverses, then, you know, that 1 diamond, 1 spade, 2 heart there, you know, if you wanted to go back to diamonds, you've got to go to the 3 level. And if you've only got 12 points and they've only got 6, that is very high, isn't it? So there is a reason for these rules, but the general thing is to not let the bidding go too high. Right. Where have we got to? How are we doing for time? We're just about on the right. Is that okay, everybody? Sorry about the mistakes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right, now where do we got to? We've just done that one, haven't we? Right, let's go in a little bit more detail with a short quiz here. Responder raises your major suit. Now, we won't bother with pencil and paper this time because we're actually getting into the second bid proper now. Here's the bidding. I ought to spend less time on animations and more on spelling checks, oughtn't I?
Yeah.
One heart.
One heart.
Yeah.
Cheaper of 4s. It comes up a lot, that, doesn't it? We've only just got enough points to bid, but we should do. And then partner goes,
2 hearts.
partner goes 2 hearts. So what are we going to do about it?
3 hearts.
Hearts.
No, no. Partner has shown a minimum opening hand. Something like 7 losers, 12 to 15 points. We've only got 6. There's no way we can have 25. So that is a clear pass. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So long as our partner knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, if they were stronger than 15, they should be bidding 3 hearts. Or if they've got 6 losers, they should be bidding 3 hearts. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think there is any argument about that particular one, really.
No.
Here we go.
And,
Spade.
Yes.
one spade.
Yeah, we've got an opening hand.
Yeah.
We've got game, but for the moment, don't take away the bidding space. 1 spade. Partner comes back 2 spades.
4 spades.
4.
Absolutely. So we didn't have to worry about having all those points because it was lucky that partner raised spades. 4 spades is absolutely. Partner has, I admit, partner's only got 12 to 15 points, 7 losers,
Yeah.
but we've got 14.
Losers as well.
7 losers ourselves. Although actually it's the point, this is a balanced hand. I prefer to use the fact we've got 14 points. Either way, it's 4 spades.
Yeah.
The losing trick count tends to underrate balanced hands. That's the logic behind it.
One spade. No.
Two clubs.
Two hearts.
2 hearts.
Hearts, yeah. Don't forget, by the way, that this particular bidding sequence shows 5 hearts. Okay,
Yeah.
not 4, but 5. This particular sequence, bidding a new suit at the 2 level always shows 5 cards and 10 or more points.
All right. So 10 points. 10 points, 5 hearts.
Hmm.
Mm. 8 lose. 4 hearts.
That's 3.
I know I'm a little bit conservative by nature. I don't think this is usually, I mean, you know, sometimes you might make 4 hearts. How many losers has partner got?
8.
No,
He's got
Oh,
6.
partner.
Yeah.
partner's got 7.
Yeah.
7
This
losers.
is quite a
0.
common mistake. They've only raised 1 level. They had to bid. A lot of people think 2 hearts, 3 hearts like this is 6 losers. It's not, it's 7, or should be, because they had to bid, they had to raise, because perhaps they got 3 hearts themselves. So
Yeah.
3 hearts, that's only showing 7, you see.
Mm,
Not as good as it sounds.
Mm,
To
we've
me,
got
with
eight.
our, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losers, that doesn't make game.
No, 15.
Now, bidding's not an exact science, and on certain days of the week, of course, maybe 4 hearts is on. But on average, to me, that isn't quite worth, it's a 3.5, 3.25 heart. That three
Yeah,
and a half.
you could lose on that bidding. You could lose 3 diamond tricks straight off.
Yeah, so I look at that nasty weak suit though. I hate to see suits like that. And partner hasn't bid the suit, although they might be short in it, I suppose. Okay. By a narrow margin, I think the jury's pass, I hope. I think it's pass.
Yeah.
Oh, next one.
Now, what have we got here?
4, 8, 12,
Let's bid again.
2 hearts.
2 hearts.
yeah, 15 points.
Same again.
4
That's a
hearts.
4.
Now we're strong
Yeah.
enough. Now we're strong enough.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy with that?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in group 1, just stop me if it's going
Oh.
too quickly. Of course, the great thing is you can do this all on the website. You can do it. You just go back. It's all there on bidding as responder. If you wonder where all this is, and I forgot what question we're on. Was it number 4, 5? Was it? If you remember. Yeah. First bid.
And spade.
One spade, yeah.
Jumped.
Jumped.
Pass.
Oh, we've got 6.
Oh, has made a double jump.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8.
Yeah, but you haven't got enough.
I think I'll still go green.
We're as weak as we could be, aren't we?
Yeah.
6 points. If you like the losers, even on this N9, that is still a pass. We've been invited to game, but we have politely declined the invitation.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though it's a double raise, we're absolutely minimum.
Mhm.
A spade again.
Yeah.
Pass.
Hmm.
4, 8. Well, you can go another one. What's that?
8. 4
You're a
spades.
bit better this time, aren't you? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losers.
Yeah.
How many losers do you take partner for?
7.
6.
No,
6.
6. Yes. Don't forget, 7's the minimum.
Yeah.
So this is 6.
So it's 4 spades.
Or it might be something like 16 to 18 points. If it's balanced, it's better to do that way. Well, if they've got 16, we've got 11, no
11.
problem.
He's responding to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Chris, could I just clarify, Chris, that when you're responding to your partner as opener, you don't go through the barrier when you support their suit?
Sorry, I can't quite understand the question.
Well, the response is 1 spade,
Yeah.
and then the opener goes 3 spades, which is obviously more than 2 hearts, which
Yes.
would be in a barrier. So it doesn't.
Right. Well,
can.
that's an important thing to clear up, isn't it? What does the barrier apply to? What the barrier applies to is if the opener bids a second different suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once you found your fit as here, you just do the arithmetic. Okay.
Yeah.
And it so happens actually that does show 16 to 18 points. If you're not using the losing trick count. So yeah, I mean, it sort of applies even here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, no, it's even more than that, isn't it? Because 2 spades would be above the barrier as well. Now, the barrier thing only applies if you're thinking as opening bidder of bidding a second different suit. It
Yeah.
doesn't apply to supporting.
Yeah. Thought so.
And that's just the kind of, context thing that, a lot of people get wrong. They quote things and then it's out of context. Like, oh, you're bidding above the barrier. Well, the barrier applies to that particular context of bidding a new suit. Has that clarified that for you?
Yes, it has.
So, Martin, what are you
Thank
going to bid here?
Oh,
Four,
right.
four.
While you're on my stars, all the stars appear at the top bit of the screen here.
Well, I think 11, yeah, I think I'd go to 4.
Is your screen the same as mine, where, for example, Martin is at the bottom of a group of 4 people?
No.
No.
See, I'd never realised that. You see, Brendan looks as though he's permanently top of the class there, just below the teacher. And then there's Beryl below that. And then, oh, that's interesting. I always thought all the screens were the same. And I'm never quite sure, by the way, on the Zoom recordings, you only see one face, don't you?
I've
I'm
only
not
got
quite-
your face, Chris.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, I didn't.
It's only for a few minutes longer. Okay, well done, Martin. Next question.
Spade.
That's definitely,
One spade.
I think it's
Indeed. It's a very good hand.
He doesn't like that.
12. Just
Ooh.
6.
I got South to stick in the bid because I thought it was highly likely with this distribution, but it hasn't interfered.
So, yeah, you got 4. That's 16.
6 losers only.
and they've got 6, 12.
Yeah.
You may want to go to 4 no trump with that.
I think it's going to say that, Beryl, isn't it? Can you
Oh.
tell everybody your reasoning?
Well, the opening they've jumped to 3 spades, the opener. They could have gone to 2 spades with less points. So if you say they've got 6 losers and you count the losers in the responder's hand, it comes to 12, I think. So you could be on for a slam, and also with the number of points between both of you, and you have a singleton in the opposition's bid.
I think you're going to take over the next lesson after that.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well done.
Oh, well, there you go. I was
Well,
wrong.
now I thought 4 no trumps, but I've just it's definitely strong enough, isn't it? Why have I bashed to 6 spades here? I think it's because I've got 3 aces already.
Yeah.
If you got the
I
4
know.
face,
I
you
mean,
can-
4 no trumps is a very good answer. I think
Well, I suppose
think-
you've got 10 spades between you, haven't you?
I think that you actually know that you've got.
No, you've got
that-
9 spades, Beryl, because if he was 5-5,
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm seeing 6 on the screen. Time for bed, I think.
I think because he's got 3 aces, and the losing trick counts as 6 and 6, as you so clearly explained, that gives a 6-level contract. So
Yeah, but you could lose to the queen of spades, couldn't you?
yes, I don't think the bidding systems. Well, yes, it depends if you do you do the Roman key card, Blackwood?
Yes.
Well, perhaps.
you wouldn't get 5 spades back on that, would you?
No trumps, 1. Yeah. We're into deep water here. I think the main thing to take away is that is slam area, definitely. And the only reason that the computer, in other words, me working it out a couple of years ago when I first did this, is that I count it as a 6, a small slam.
Mm.
And as I've got already 3 aces, I can afford 1 missing. The important thing is, by the way, should you use Blackwood on a hand like this? And the answer is definitely yes, because you've got controls in all the suit. That means ace, king, or singleton. Okay. Anyway, interesting one, wasn't it? I think either way we should be in 6 spades. I mean, grand slams are lovely. I mean, I think Brendan once made a grand slam not so long ago. But
Yeah.
I think there'd be
By
nothing
mistake.
worse than bidding 7 spades and then going 1 down, would there? I mean, at our club, we don't get that many slams, do we, to be honest?
No.
No, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Now, I would say, yes, if you do use the sophisticated Roman key card Blackwood, where you can
Yeah.
find out about the queen. That would be nice to have that clarified, wouldn't it?
Because you could lose to the queen if you've got 9
By the
trumps
way,
between you and it broke as 3-1. You could actually lose to the queen and lose the ace of diamonds.
what's a really good feature though of this hand that nobody's mentioned? That's a bit more subtle.
It's 5-4-3-1.
That's good, but we've accounted for that, of course, by the losing trick count and counted as 6. There's another plus feature which even makes it possibly better than the losing trick count. How many hearts has partner got?
So you've
He's got
at
5,
least
so he's got a
32
double fit.
You've got,
A double fit.
oh, right, yeah.
We've got a double fit, and maybe, just maybe, there might be a grand slam on here. Unfortunately, we'll never see our partners have. So it's very interesting. Grown up, yeah. Double fit, double fit. A double fit means, of course, that you've only got about 3 cards outside those 2 suits to think about. Right.
The
My
odds
advice,
are,
genuine.
the odds are as well, because he's bid 2 diamonds south, the queen odds on would be either a singleton in South's hand or with North.
It's a probability rather than, yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's see. Spade.
Yeah,
2 hearts.
All right.
2 halves.
No,
Those
I got
5 cards, as we've seen before. Oh,
3 or 5.
Well, again, you're in slam territory, aren't you?
partner seems to have 6 losers. So and I think this time it is going to say 4 no trumps, because we are actually a couple of aces short this time. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a really classic Blackwood hand there. You see, you haven't got 2 quick losers in a suit and you haven't got any voids. That's the time when in other words, you have control over the suits. You can't lose more than 1 round in the suit. Do you see what I mean? A king, an ace, a singleton, but not two low cards in any suit. So we just lose 2 tricks, even though we've got about 33 points. And not a void, because if you use Blackwood with voids, you can have an information about ace, but you don't know what ace it is. And it's the one where the void in, it's not so useful, obviously. So there's some interesting ones there. Okay. The important thing with 7 and 8, though, you're using the losing trick count to find out that you're in slam territory.
Sorry,
Okay.
Chris, could you kindly explain not using the Roman key card Blackwood with a void? I've never understood the reason behind that.
Right. Suppose you had 2 aces
Yes.
and another suit with no ace and another void. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say that again. Supposing you had 2 aces
Mm-hmm.
and another suit with no ace and a void.
Mm-hmm.
And you used Blackwood and found out the information was that partner had got 1 ace.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the ace is in the suit without the ace, that's useful. If it's in the suit with the void, it's not, because you're not going to lose a trick you're not going to lose anything in that suit anyway.
Okay.
Now, you can just take a blind guess, of course. But were you there? I mean, it must be 3 or 4 years ago now when I did Q bidding.
Yeah.
That's the answer, is to bid out your aces. And this course is not really meant for that kind of thing, but you might remember going back something called Italian Q bids. I wonder if, Keith, you use those at all?
I do occasionally.
Or do you just simply bid aces?
No, I've learned the lesson the hard way. Don't do it when you've got 2 quick losers, and don't do it with a void.
Now, have you run into trouble to answer Barrow's question using it on a void?
And I've run in both.
Yes. Oh, well, there we are. The experience tells us.
Thank you.
Right. If we don't mind, we're just going to plough through one this will be the last one till January the 4th. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we have the neighbours in next Wednesday. I mean, if
Everybody needs good neighbours.
and just good friends. Anyway, right, let's move on. Of course, I could disinvite them if anybody insists on another. John would be really pleased about that. Can you? Yeah. Right, okay. Right, final quiz tonight because I have done it already. So, oh gosh, there's a lot, isn't there? Should be really quick. If you're tired and you want your cocoa, I won't be annoyed. Oh, Beryl, while I think about it, next Tuesday,
Yes,
we were talking about you doing a quiz
yes,
and me doing a quiz.
yes.
Now, I don't think we've got that many in Group 1 coming, unfortunately. And I suspect we'll be all together just playing, Chicago Bridge. Keith, is that all right, do you think?
Chicago's fine.
Actually need 2 quizzes, do you think?
I'm quite happy to go along with the flow. Yeah, we have in Group 2, I can think of about 5 people away.
Yeah.
Well, what we could do is I'll have my quiz. How long is your quiz, do you think?
It's 20 questions with a one final answer.
Do you mean multiple choice?
Sorry?
Did you mean multiple choice or?
No, there's an answer to each question, and those answers then give a final answer.
I see. And how long do you think that might take?
15 minutes.
Well, perhaps I'll have something in reserve, and we don't want to deprive people of their mince pie time, do we?
Well, your quiz would be far more relevant to Bridge than mine.
Well, mine is only relevant to Bridge in the sense of the questions, if you see what I mean.
I don't mind. Right, as you and Keith are directors, I leave it in your hands.
All right. Okay. Right. Very quickly then, as quick as we can. First bid, please.
Hard.
Bid.
No, it's not.
Sorry, I thought I heard somebody say pass, but they actually said yes. Anyway, it is because we're absolute minimum.
Yes, minimum.
That is showing 15 to 17.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it works the reason.
Next one. You can always do these. Actually, I tell you what, it's 25 to 9 now. If you want a bit of homework and you're, it's just here. And I don't really think we've got time through all of these now, but it's all there on the website. So thank you very much for being such a good audience. And I'm now going to stop recording. There we are. Yes, I do want